Last call was on the 7th, when there was a connection, and that's all. He was going to leave on the 10th. Well, on the 9th, they tied.
Halina Oleksandrovna lives all her life in the city of Izium, Kharkiv region. In the spring of the 22nd year, the whole world heard about the city. The Russians occupied this region of Kharkiv Oblast. There were constant heavy battles. A shell hit the house where Galina Oleksandrovna's relatives lived. At the same time, 8 relatives of the woman died instantly.
They were making Molotov cocktails in the garage. 60 bottles were made. We bought gasoline ourselves and gave it to Ukrainian's army. And afterwards, relatives ran to the basement. 8 minutes to 2 when they ran. The shooting was really heavy. Well, that's it.
Excavation of the rubble was started 2 weeks later by local DSNS workers. It was impossible to recognize the bodies.
There were no faces at all burned.
Galina Oleksandrovna did not expect to recognize her loved ones. Together with other victims in this story, she placed a cross near the destroyed house. But in the fall, after the deoccupation of the city, local investigators opened a criminal investigation into the case. And Galina Oleksandrovna got a chance to bury her relatives with dignity. Rapid DNA allows investigators on site to establish a family connection between people within 2 hours. The police in Kharkiv region have adopted this tool to help them identify war victims.
Currently, during the pre-trial investigation, more than 300 people have requested the identification of the bodies of their deceased relatives. Since it is with its help that the term of establishing DNA profiles and comparing it for matches of kinship is accelerated.
In the conditions of Russia's armed aggression against Ukraine, rocket attacks on Ukrainian cities, and the discovery of huge mass graves in the deoccupied territories, rapid DNA helps investigators quickly identify the names of the dead. There are few rapid DNA systems being used in Ukraine today, but police and relatives of the victims say that much more is needed because of the number of dead.
They are very needed. Definitely needed. How about without DNA? 12 minutes past 9. When they excavated my children, there were no faces. The clothes were burnt. How can you find out? It was impossible.
Today, police officers across Ukraine are learning to work with the mobile rapid DNA system. One of the trainings was already held in Kiev and others have happened as well over the last few months. The system being used only processes DNA for identification purposes, and it uses many ways to keep the system secure and make sure that it is not possible to replace the biological samples. In addition to the fact that the device is really necessary for the identification of the bodies of victims of Russian aggression, it will also help in the investigation of other crimes.
When used by criminalists, it will allow to speed up the collection of samples of biological origin, which will allow to solve hot-track crimes in the shortest possible time.
To date, 4 mobile rapid DNA systems have been provided to the main police department in the Kharkiv region. 2 more devices are in the main office of the Kyiv region. They have already helped to identify the bodies of Galina Oleksandrovna's relatives, as well as most of the bodies in the large mass grave in Izium. Also, rapid DNA has helped investigators in the investigation after a heavy rocket attack on the Amstor shopping center in Kremenchuk. And also after the attack on the center of Vinnytsia.